And there it goes.
Oh,
Okay.
he's purring so loud. I wish that we've got like sound cancellation so you guys can't hear it. But happy Friday, guys. Today we're going to have some fun. We're going to go through mine and Michelle's Etsy shop and look at some of our listings that aren't selling. So this should be fun. I've actually refrained from going through any of our data because I've wanted to do a video like this for a while and I couldn't decide if I wanted to do it for the Friday Bean or if I wanted to record it. But I figured the Friday Bean would be more fun simply because I want you guys to see the exact process that I go through. And sometimes part of that process is seeing how much time it takes me. I think that when it comes to like my SEO videos, for example, 2 weeks ago, I published a really great step-by-step Etsy SEO tutorial. And when you see videos like that, you immediately feel like, wow, Starla's flying through this process. Like it takes me hours. No, it takes me a long time too. I do get faster at it and I've gotten pretty darn quick. I can usually optimize a listing in 10 or 15 minutes, but that's because I'm so familiar with my niche and the keywords that perform well for our niche that I don't need to think super hard about it anymore, which does take practice. However, I do think that it gives you guys the wrong idea when you see those really, really quick videos where I'm flying through the process of keyword optimization. So I also want you guys to see the more realistic version of me trying to figure out, why isn't this listing selling? Is this an SEO issue? Is this a photo issue? So that's what we're going to be doing today. On Tuesday, last Tuesday, I did a great video with Mark where we went through over, let's see, it was $426, something like that, worth of Printify samples. We don't do a lot of POD videos, but we do know that a lot of you guys are POD sellers. So we try to sprinkle one in every once in a while. And I think that even if you don't sell POD, that video is probably the funniest video that we've ever published. You even get a sexy strip tease from me trying on clothing. He's like, So check it out. If you need a laugh, it's pretty funny. But Mr. Moore, I think that we're pretty much good to go. I can't do what I need to do with this man, though. You want to go to Daddy?
Just let him do it. He'll do it.
Come
on.
Oh,
Come on.
Of course, I get the butt end of the cat. All right. Let's see. How do you want to move everything around?
You're just saying that
because
what's you want to move everything around.
And our charity, I'm going to mess it up.
National Black Children's Development Institute.
National Black Children's Development Institute. So we wanted to do something for Black History Month, and Mark's best friend is Black. So we asked him, hey, we need a good charity to donate to. And he gave us some fantastic ideas. And we noticed that last week when we attempted to add a charity to YouTube, none of the ones that because we always do like charity checkers, we check to see, where the money's going, what it goes towards, if it is a reputable charity, have they ever encountered any controversy? Yeah,
we try to avoid controversy, that way everybody's happy.
We do that with every charity that we donate to, whether it be a charity for people, a charity for animals, a charity for, clean drinking water. We always do that. And this particular charity, we really liked the overall foundation of the charity. They help with developmental, family, and racial issues that young Black children, primarily in poverty-stricken areas, face. They are a fantastic charity. I spent a ton of time reading on their website, but YouTube didn't have the charity like on their list of charities. So I had to actually submit an application and that went through.
They approved it faster than anything else we've ever attempted to put on.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
So that one's great. We love doing charities that help children. So please consider checking that out. It is down below somewhere. We don't see a penny of that money. That's our charity of the month. And then next month we'll do a new charity. Last month's charity was water.org if you guys missed that. But okay, I think that, let me actually, before you screen share, I want to start by going to my storefront.
How do we donate? There should be a button
down
below the video.
Under the chat, there's like a little donate button somewhere down there. But every penny counts, so even if you can only donate a few dollars, like it adds up quick. All right, I think we're good to screen share. Cool. Okay, so we're going to be working in mine and Michelle's Etsy shop. We are an officially licensed bookish shop, and we recently released a collection for Sarah Maz's new Crescent City book, House of Flame and Shadow, which Mark and I are still reading, so no spoilers, please. But one of the advantages of officially licensing with authors is that we can hit really, really specific niches, which is super cool. We do pay a small percentage to each author that we license with, but this shop has only been open since, I think it was September 1st was when we opened it and actually uploaded products, and we've already got 74 sales, so that's been pretty rad. And like I said, we just released a new collection, so
especially for something so niche.
Yeah. But because of that, we can target really specific keywords related to these books and industries and, the fantasy realm. Now, with that in mind, we just released a collection, which isn't something that I want to touch this time because it's new and we're still getting our data on it. Not to mention, it's for a book that people are still reading. The book just came out, so we're thinking that, maybe we'll start seeing a little bit more hype after people finish reading it. But let's go ahead.
It's a good book.
Oh yeah, it's been fantastic so far.
It's really hard to put down.
I'm so excited to read tonight.
Yeah, Brenda said I may or may not have finished Ho Fast in 2 days.
Oh my God.
If we had the time to sit and read it for that long, we would.
Yeah, we're like right in the middle of it. All right, so we're at my eRank tasks page. I'm using my expert plan today. If you're using a free plan, it's probably going to be a little bit limited. However, if you want to try a free 30-day subscription to one of our paid plans, you can get a lot of work done in 30 days. I do have on my video that I uploaded 2 weeks ago. It's like fast and easy Etsy SEO tutorial. Just go to my channel, and you should find it. I have in the video description the steps to take to get 30 days free of any of our paid plans if you want to test one out. But our basic plan, it's super duper affordable. It's only $5.99 a month. So, and Mark and I don't get paid for recommending eRank. Just
nope. I wish.
I'm a manager at eRank. I don't get paid to recommend it. So I'm going to go ahead and just first of all, I kind of want to go to my dashboard just because I want to get an idea of what's going on. So let's go ahead and refresh our data for today. Sometimes this takes a few minutes. I don't know if it takes time depending on how many listings you have or if it's the same for every shop. I know mine usually takes quite a while. Sometimes that's just eRank. Have you guys ever noticed that every time you refresh your data, you get a different vehicle on the screen? That was my idea. All right, so let's take a peek here. Top keywords. This is what happens when you're a YouTuber and you mention your name of your business. Your top keywords will all be your business name from people who want to try to spy on you. My top traffic source is Etsy, so that's pretty cool. My spotted on Etsy. I've got some good page rank for books and cold brews. But Crescent City, looky there, got some good rank for Sarah J. Maas.
Looky there.
And for Crescent City. And I don't think that this item is sold yet, so that's very interesting. All right, so what I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to go into my active listings and I'm going to start looking at all of my listings. So let's see. Actually, do I want my active listings or do I want my... No, I think I will do active listings. Okay, so most of my listings have A grades. Don't get caught up on your grades within the listing audit. I say this all the time, but your grades don't tell you that your listing is good. They're just telling you how well you followed Etsy's best practices.
It's more of a conformance grade.
Exactly. So for example, our best-selling product is this Christmas ornament. We've sold more of this ornament than anything else in our shop. If we go ahead and open up the listing audit for this particular ornament, we can see that it sold 29 times over the holidays. It's a Christmas ornament, so obviously it's not, we're not getting lots of sales for it now, but it did very well over the holidays.
It's your most sold item, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it did phenomenally well. Good views, good favorites. Visibility score is obviously going to be high. That factors in the entire time that the item has been posted. So if you've got like a bad visibility score, just be aware it can take time to get that visibility score up. I've got Google Analytics attached to my account, so I also have traffic stats. I can see where some of my traffic has come from. Looks like most are just coming from other sites and organic search. Let's see. This is the part of my title that is viewable, so not too bad. Obviously, it's going to give me that little suggestion that my title is too long. That's okay. Your titles can be long. You don't get any points taken away from you. Just make sure that what is visible in this yellow on a search page kind of gives an idea of what the item is. In most cases, I would want Christmas ornament somewhere ahead, but I think that my photo is telling enough that you can tell what it is. And I've got some, some keywords in here that say unknown, but it's because they're book titles and they're terms that I know when put together are going to have good searches. Like, for example, this is unknown, Akatar Christmas, which is, Court of Thorns and Roses. However, it looks like there was an increase in December, despite the fact that it's unknown, the competition is low. Even with only those 10 searches in December, this was my bestseller. So this is just gaps in eRank's data. If it's a really, really niche, keyword, occasionally you're going to see these inconsistencies. Now, there are a lot of terms here that are tags, but you have to remember that when it comes to broad matching, I am matching for every combination of these terms, which is why sometimes looking at competitor tags, you shouldn't just consider what the tags are, but really look at all of the tags together in combination with each other. So for example, I might also be ranking for Akatar Bookstagram, for example, or one of the books, A Court of Mist and Fury is the book title, but I can't get an exact match for that because the title was too long. I cut that into 2 tags, so I'm still going to broad match. I hope that makes sense. I talk a lot more about that in the video that I posted 2 weeks ago, so be sure to check that out. But I think what I really want to do is start looking at some of my items that have not been selling. So let me pop into my new health check. This is a brand new tool that we added. And just to see, I just want to see if there's anything alarming in here. Spelling issues, this is usually acronyms like ACOTAR, acronyms for the books that the fans understand, or book character names. So I usually don't worry too much about spelling issues. Looks like there is a one-word tag on this one. So I would be curious to see what one-word tag I used. I love our new health check. This was something I proposed to Anthony. And it just allows you to very quickly go through and see.
Nitson asked what was the product. I didn't see ornament and keywords.
I'm pretty sure it was in there.
Yeah, Christmas ornament.
Christmas ornament. You mean in the tags? We'll get down there in a minute. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I guess I have sold one of these. Okay, cool. He's kind of a side character for now. Okay, so title looks good. It's got the character name. Bat Boy, that was,
Bat Boy.
Bat Boy. Let's see. Ornament. Right there. And I have Christmas listed in one of my attributes, so I didn't need to repeat it down in ornaments. Okay. All right. What was the one-word tag? Shadow Singer. But that was because it's such a long term that I wasn't able to get anything else good in there. So that's fine then. I'm not too worried about that being a one-word tag. It's a longer reference to the book. It used up a lot of characters. Okay. Now let's see. I want to go into, let me go back into my active listings real quick. Oop. And then I think what the issue is, no. You know what I need to see is
that really where you wanted to be?
Right, those are my shop sections. I'm trying to decide my best course of action starting out.
Oh, Amanda, you have to read them.
They're so good.
Start with A Court of Thorns and Roses first, and then do Crescent City.
Yeah, don't start with Crescent City. Dear God, you'll be so confused. Okay, I'm gonna actually just go into compare listings, and then I'm gonna grab some of my listing IDs. So let's go ahead and go into some of the items that I know haven't been selling phenomenally well.
You know I'm coming for you.
So these are, is he being bad again?
Yes. He's like, you know what's more comfortable than your lap laying on a bunch of bottles in plastic? He likes to make noise.
All right, so I'm going to go into specifically my Sarah Moss collection because she is our biggest author. And I want to skip all the items that we just listed because obviously those aren't going to have much history behind them. I'm going to start popping open some of the items that we released a while ago that haven't sold. So this pennant, I think we might have sold one. I can't remember. This one hasn't sold very well. Trying to find, I know this one has sold. This one I don't think has sold. And I know that none of our blankets have sold. So I actually want to go in and get a better idea of these products. So I'm going to get the listing ID, which is this little, actually, where is, no, it's right here. It says listing / and then a number and then Akatar Valara, City of Starlight. So this little number in the URL. I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And I'm going to take it right into eRank. In fact, I'm going to move this over here. And I'm going to paste it in. Okay. So I've got that one. Now I'm going to grab this one. Same place. And then I'm going to paste it in.
Amanda said which first again? A Court of Thorns and Roses first.
This one.
There's what, five books?
Thorns and Roses, Mist and Fury, Wings and Ruin, Frost and Starlight, Silver Flames. There's 5.
And don't skip the novella.
Don't skip the novella. No, it's a Christmas story. Why would you skip the happy novella?
Not a Christmas story.
It is a Christmas story. It's a solstice story. All right, so I've got my listing IDs for those listings, and let's just do a little comparison here.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Okay. Let's take a little peek. All right, so daily views of the pennant are higher than these, but this particular blanket has decent daily views. Okay, that's weird because this hasn't sold. I wonder if it's just not clear that this is a quote, that it's because there's no wolves. And I mean, there are wolves in Act, but this was more of a reference. It was a character calling and saying that another character is a wolf. You are a wolf. And I used a wolf, so maybe it's a little bit too abstract and people are just clicking it to see what it is. The views aren't bad. These were listed at the same time. Total hearts. This one has more hearts. This one has 6 hearts. Quantity I don't care about. Processing time I don't care about. Image count. Looks like we're missing an image on this one. I didn't know that. Okay. So force estimated sales. That's not right. We haven't sold any of these. But these are just estimates. And I do think that we have... No, I don't think we've sold that one either. But I do think we've sold this one. I think that our estimated sales... Pam or Debbie or either of you here, our estimated sales are, what, 80% accurate, I think is what Anthony has said.
Mm-hmm.
And then the revenue is just, associated with those sales. Okay. Estimated conversion rate. Okay. And then here's all the tags that we've used.
Hannah said, I love the Akatar series, but couldn't get into Crescent City. Give it a second read through. When you get the first book's kind of a slog. Once you're about halfway through it, it picks up. Yeah,
it's like, as long as somebody gave me the advice to read it like Zootopia. And, if you can survive the first 6 chapters, you'll be fine. The first 6 chapters are super confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, not really getting anything clear on... It's very confusing because this one has a lot more favorites. Not that favorites mean anything, but I think it's interesting that this one's getting a lot of views and less favorites, and then this one is getting more favorites but less views. And yet neither of them is really selling well. Can you go back to our faces for just 1 second? I just want to make sure that when I click on this particular... I just want to make sure that I'm not showing any buyer data that you guys can't see. Let's see. Let's go into our changes tool. Okay, you can go ahead and go. Okay, so now I'm in my track changes tool. These are a couple of the listings that I've been tracking changes for. The blankets I'm the most curious about. So I want to show changes. Let me go ahead and close all these tabs out.
It said, shouldn't we compare the same products like t-shirts to t-shirts?
You can, but it really depends. You have to consider that I'm comparing within a niche. So I'm comparing different price points. I'm comparing similar designs from the same books. So I'm comparing what works for my shop based on my target audience. You have to be able to do that abstractly for your target audience, whether that be, maybe you're selling a Valentine's Day shirt and a Valentine's Day mug. It really just depends. All right, and I want to see the changes on this one, and I want to see the changes on this one specifically. Okay, so let's take a little look here. So it looks like, yes, oh no, this was last night was my snapshot. We got 4 new views and a new favorite. New view, new favorite. 5 views, very interesting. A new view. And then this shirt has the same design. A new view. This one is actually sold once. This one doesn't seem to be...
It's not getting any traffic.
Yeah, this one's not getting as much traction. So I'm going to move that up here. This blanket, 3 new views. 1 new view, 1 new view. So
it's okay. Still not as good as the first, but not bad.
But what this tells me is that this might not be a keyword issue with these blankets. That it seems like people are liking them, but they're just not being impulse to buy. Whereas some of these listings, like the shirt, I want to check the rank on these before I make any changes. Okay, so this is the one that I was a little confused about because it had a lot of favorites, but not as many views as the other ones. So there's a view.
It's also a cheaper item.
Yeah, there's a view, favorite, view, 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 view. Okay, so this one's getting a lot of views. That tells me that it's probably not ranking terrible. I think what I want to do now is I want to specifically check the rank of these items because I really want to get down to the bottom of what the issue is. Is it a keyword issue on some of these or is it a photo issue? This one I'm a little concerned about. We've sold it once, but we sold it to Mabel the Woodle. Hi.
I have this for just a second.
Yeah. We sold it to Mabel the Woodle. So,
make sure that's not running in the background.
Oh, okay. So since that was an alpha sale, I'm not going to consider that to be like an organic sale. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go into the rank checker tool. So what the rank checker is going to do is, where's our rank checker? Oh, it's in the tools. Our rank checker is going to basically tell you where your listing would be organically in search without that layer of personalization that Etsy applies to each user. So we often get questions like, hey, I went to Etsy and the rank checker said I'd be on page 1, but I couldn't find my product anywhere on page 1. Well, yeah, that's because your personalization is different. But this gives us a good average. So it looks like it's saved a lot of my keywords already in here. I'm going to go ahead and search. Some of these are related to the From Blood and Ash series, but that's okay. The main keywords that I want to be known for are already listed in here. So let's go ahead and give it a look-see. Oh, come on, eRank. In the meantime...
We are doing it at like one of the busiest times of the day too, so...
Yeah. In the meantime, let me pull up the listing audit for this shirt. I'm just curious. All right, sales 2. Okay, so I guess we have sold it more than once. I thought we'd only sold this one once. 4 favorites. This one isn't getting much love. Akatar Resand quote shirt. This one is making me wonder if there's some better keywords that I could be using. Again, the tags don't mean a whole lot because a lot of them, like a court of, and then the books are Court of Thorns and Roses, a Court of Wings and Ruin. So this one, I really, really think that it could do well because I love this design. And I know that this was like such an impactful moment in the books. So I find it really hard to believe that it's an issue with the listing itself. Let's see. Let's go ahead and I'm going to open the listing audit for this one as well. All right, and this one hasn't sold at all, but its views have been really good. Let's see. Title, tags, description. Akatar not found in description because we use the full term, A Court of Thorns and Roses, and blanket not used in description. I'm pretty sure blanket was in our description. It is. I'm going to talk to Anthony because that doesn't seem right. Okay. So what I'm going to do for this blanket, I think I'm going to go in and update the description to add in A Court of Thorns and Roses in there.
It says blanket a couple of times.
Yeah, it's really weird that it's saying that. Oh no, it's
blanket is found.
Oh, okay.
Akatar is not found.
Got it. Okay, so I'm gonna do that.
Probably add Akatar into there. There's no reason not to have it.
Yeah, I think I will do that. Are you done yet?
Yes.
Okay, so let's take a peek here. All right, so for our Court of Silver Flames notebook, the keyword that we're ranking for is Cassian and Nesta, page 1, rank 37. Okay, so that's not terrible.
No, not too bad.
Akatar Christmas Ornament, page 2, rank 86. I'm really looking, okay. Akatar Blanket, page 1, rank 27. So I'm going to grab this term, Akatar Blanket, and just out of curiosity, I'm going to go ahead and just pop that into the keyword tool real quick. Take a peek. While that's loading up, I'm going to keep looking. Tamlin is like, nobody likes Tamlin. So even if it's ranking, I'm not surprised that that's not selling. Sarah J. Maas, page 2. That's a bomb keyword. And we've sold a couple of this shirt. Page 2 for Akatar Blanket. Okay.
It's the bulk rank checker, Linda.
What?
That's what page this is.
Yeah, bulk rank checker. Okay, so let's take a little peek here. So this is for Akatar Blanket. Big searches in the UK and New Zealand. Big searches in January 2023.
New book release.
Was that when A Court of Silver Flint? No, I can't remember. This is when the first Crescent City book came out. Little surge, and then we don't have any data. So that doesn't mean that this is a bad keyword. In fact, these are the keywords that I typically like to experiment with just because these are the terms that might be flying under the radar. They might be terms that are so niche that in our millions and millions of data panelists, nobody was searching for this specific thing, which doesn't mean it's a bad keyword. It just might mean that, especially if the competition's low, because I'm still ranking for Akatar. And for example, I think that, I've got terms in there like Akatar merch, for example. I would still be broad matching for that as long as I had that combination of terms in there. Look here. Sarah J. Moss blanket. I'm actually going to add that term to my keyword list. That way I've got it. I'll put it in my Crescent City list. And I'm also going to...
Amanda said maybe it's the international shipping costs.
Possibly. And then I'm going to put it in my Sarah J. Moss or my Akatar keyword list as well. Okay. Akatar candle. Hoodie. These are terms that I want to say for later. These are product ideas. This is stuff that people are searching for. Oh, look here.
Dang.
Okay.
Let's say again, new product. So
Okay. Sarah J. Moss blanket.
yeah, you need to get that one in there ASAP because there ain't no competition for that.
Okay, I want that in this keyword list, and I also want that in my Crescent City keyword list. Okay, this might be a way better keyword. Okay. What was... I was waiting for something to load, wasn't I?
No, it already loaded.
That's right. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop open my blanket listings. So I'm going to pop this one open, and I'm going to pop this one open, and I'm going to edit, and I'm going to edit. Okay. And I'm trying to decide, because I've got a couple different photos for these listings. I'll go ahead and just open them up so you can see. Okay. So I did this kind of mock-up one of me standing in front of an archway with like the main mountain from the book like visible in the doorway. We couldn't get great photos of this blanket just because it's so big. We took some while we were on vacation in the woods. There was like we were at an Airbnb and they had like a really pretty bed. So I was trying to get the photos on that. I think what I want to do for a few weeks is I think I want to play around with thumbnails as well.
Yeah, maybe merch isn't the right word for your Sarah J. Maas. Maybe taking that out and switching it out for blanket might be the move.
Because I've already got blanket up here. So I got to get really, really crafty with my titles because I really want these blankets to sell. They're so wonderful.
They are actually nice products.
These are my favorite product. They are so cozy. We snuggle with these every day.
Yeah, I take the dog outside with it. I lay on the couch with it.
Yeah, we gave this one to his sister, so she'd have something cuddly. I think, I don't know which photo, because I want to do one where I experiment with the photo, and the other one I'm going to experiment with the SEO. I'm going to change the SEO on one, and I'm going to change the photo on the other, because neither of them are selling, and they're both for the same book. So, I'm stuck because I think that this photo looks nicer, but it kind of cuts off the top of the text, but does it matter because you can still read it? Or do I go with the bed photo? The bed photo looks a little sloppier. The lighting wasn't great. Whereas this one, I really like the lighting.
I'll let the crowd decide. Let's do maybe 1 for the couch, 2 for the bed in the chat.
Yeah, type a 1 if you like the couch photo, and type a 2 in the chat if you like the bed photo. Bed photo, couch photo. Because this one, I'm going to specifically experiment with thumbnails. What's the couch versus bed look like on this one? That one's a little too hard to see. And then this one, because it's crushed velvet, I tell you what, these blankets are...
It's pretty much unanimously they want the bed.
The bed? Okay.
There's a couple of ones, but it's mostly 2.
Okay.
Few ones rolling in, but...
That's the wrong listing. All right, so let's do a switcheroo. We'll go ahead and leave this one.
What's the point of the tags if we put everything in the title?
What do you mean? The tags are positive reinforcement for the algorithm. Everything that's in your title should be down in your tags as well, but not everything that's in your tag should be in your title. That comes directly from Etsy's Ultimate Guide to Search. Etsy needs multiple cues and clues that we sprinkle throughout our listings to know what you're selling, what style it is, what color it is, and who they should show it to, and what occasion it's for. So all of the different clues that you're leaving throughout your listings are ways to tell Etsy, yes, this is in fact a blanket. This is in fact a blue blanket. This is in fact a blanket from this book series. This is in fact a blanket from this book series by this author, if that makes sense.
Debbie said, don't forget your alt text.
My alt text, yeah, I don't have alt text on these yet. That's the only thing that I haven't done yet. I need to. All right, so I'm going to let this one go the way that it is. And then for the other blanket, I think I'm going to leave the thumbnail the same. I want to leave that how it is, but I think I also want to try to change my keywords around a little bit, because this is not really a Rhysand and Feyre crushed blanket. That is a quote that Rhysand says to Feyre, but I don't think that it's representative of our product.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and close out this listing. I'm going to move this one over here. I'm going to close out. Let's see. Was this the keyword that we were looking for? Sarah J. Maas blanket. Okay, let me open this
up. That was the one that just kind of exploded out of nowhere with no competition.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Okay.
A lot of people are saying start with wolf blanket for a broader audience in the title. The people know nothing about the books will see it.
Yeah, but I don't care about them because they're going to see that it's from a book and they're not going to buy it. That's not my target audience. You know what I mean? They're not going to know what that quote is from. They're going to read that it's from a book, and I might get a lot of views and I might get a lot of clicks, but those aren't going to lead to conversions. Once they see that it's from something and they're like, oh, I don't know what this book is, they're not going to buy it. That's not my target audience. So I specifically want to target people who know what it is.
There's also the argument that people won't even pay attention to the fact that it's from a book. They'll just like the quote and buy it.
Well, I mean, that's a fair argument. However, we can also go in and type in, let's type in wolf blanket. We'll go ahead and compare the searches on that. Yeah,
I wouldn't do. Tina had said Viking Norse wolf blanket.
No.
See, the thing is that's
straying farther and farther from my niche.
From the niche. Yeah, we're trying to stick it in the niche.
Because remember, I'm not just telling customers. I'm not just trying to appeal to my ideal customer. I'm also trying to tell Etsy what my blanket is and who they should show it to. And that's not my target audience. I don't want to dip my toes into those other audiences, right. Because
while a sale is a sale, having a sale in the wrong industry isn't guaranteeing me a return customer, because most of the products aren't going to be relative. If I like a wolf blanket, I'm not going to like anything else in her shop, so it doesn't bring me return buyers.
Yeah. Wolf fur blanket, wolf tapestry, wolf blanket. So actually, the term that I'm wanting to experiment with, Sarah J. Maas blanket, has got significantly more traction.
It also could have been a lack of data, because January is the first month that we have data for that.
Yeah, because this is really, really patchy. But look at the competition here versus the competition here. So the competition is going to be lower regardless.
Robert Pattinson Viking Celtic wolf blanket.
I don't think so.
Get some attention, but we're not licensed to use Robert Pattinson's name.
No. Okay, so let's play around for a minute. So what I want to do is, A Court of Wings and Ruin is not one of the books that's searched as much. No. So I kind of want to play around with ACOTAR.
Almost anyone that searches within this particular book series is just going to search ACOTAR. They're not going to search a specific book, I don't think.
Okay.
I mean, you could test that by looking it up, but.
So I'm going to just kind of play around here with my title. I'm going to rearrange some stuff. So Sarah J. Maas.
Well, are all the Etsy competition for SJM's name, are they all infringing the copyright? Probably not all of them, but probably a good majority of them. Because we're actually licensed to sell this stuff.
Sarah Maas, all you have to do is open up their descriptions, and Sarah Maas requires her licensing agreement there. So if you don't see a licensing agreement added in there, and please, don't go in there and just paste one in. Don't because they do check. So you've got to have your licensing agreement in there, and then they have a catalog that they look up. All right. So ACOTAR, Sarah J. Maas. This is the conundrum, because I want Sarah J. Maas blanket to be my exact match, but it's crushed velvet.
You could use terms like face and Nessian too.
Yes, and I've done that in the past as well. Akatar, Sarah J. Maas. I want crushed blanket, but I want Sarah J. Maas blanket. I want that exact match. That keyword was too good.
Now, we're definitely not the only licensed people. There's probably some others out there.
Oh, there's a bunch. A bunch of our students are. Miranda is. She's probably in the chat. Sarah J. Maas blanket. You know,
the examples you're showing are very, very nichey. Not sure how to apply to my big niche. You just do it with your niche instead of ours.
The process is going to be the same no matter what you're selling. Like, don't get hung up on the fact that I'm showing you my niche, you know?
Yeah, it's completely... Ignore the fact that it's about the book. Ignore the fact that we're licensed. Ignore all of that.
Right. Don't get... Because the process, everything that I'm doing where I'm comparing keywords and I'm going in and I'm seeing...
exactly the same regardless of what you sell.
Exactly. So let me look up the... Because I want to see if crushed velvet blanket isn't doing me like a good service. Oh, wow. Low competition. Searches are up and down. Why is it all United Kingdom?
Maybe that's the only place we have the data from.
Velvet blanket. Velvet throw blanket. Okay. You know, I don't think that crushed velvet blanket is serving me as much as the Sarah J. Maas blanket would be. So, Akatar.
And then just put crushed velvet in the description to make sure people aren't buying something that gives them like trigger feels. I know some people can't stand the feeling of crushed velvet.
All right. Officially licensed. So we don't need... I don't have to have officially licensed in there. Sarah doesn't require it, but I like putting it in there, you know, just so my buyers know.
People can never remember author names. It's a little different with this book series.
Yeah,
everybody seems to be
Sarah,
obsessed with her specifically.
Because her books are all kind of tied together and they call it like the Maas verse. All right. So now what I want to try to do, because I don't need her name here. Akatar, Sarah J. Maas blanket. You are a wolf. What if we did you are a wolf, resand, quote, officially licensed merch from A Court of Wings and Ruin.
Kiwi said crushed velvet can also be in the materials section to reinforce it in search.
I think that it is. It should be polyester. So it's not... So materials we did based on what they're made out of. Like, regardless, you know, it's still... The whole blanket is polyester. But I do believe that it is in our crushed velvet blanket. Okay. Okay, because Michelle does our descriptions. We tag team. All right, so A Court of Wings and Ruin, just out of curiosity, let me go back in here. And I just want to see if it's even worth having this, because this is the third book in the series, so is it worth it to have this term even in here?
Produce Aisle said no one's searching for You Are a Wolf. Why waste precious title space on it?
We don't know that. Yes, it is something that you're probably not going to find in eRank, but
it's an extremely niche thing to expect data for.
Right. It's a very niche thing. And keep in mind that unknown does not mean not being searched for. It means that we don't have data for it. And if you Google You Are a Wolf, can you pop to our face real quick? Just so I can pull up a Google tab without, you know, just in case. All right. You Are a Wolf, Akatar, Etsy. Okay, go ahead. So this is something else that you have to consider, right? If somebody is searching for, oh, I did wooled. If somebody is searching on Google and they search for this quote, what's going to come up? So I'm going to get rid of Etsy. And then I'm going to go into shopping. And just out of curiosity,
See if yours is in there.
yeah, I took Etsy out. Yeah, right there. So if somebody is searching that quote, there's also Google ranking possibilities. And this is a very popular quote in the series. So when it comes to those impactful quotes, I still try to get those into those terms.
Silas said, but we do know that based on eRank.
No.
No, we don't, because that's
unknown.
Does not mean 0.
Unknown does not mean 0. If you see, yes, you're seeing this because on the graph it's showing 0 because we can't fit the word unknown on there, but this does not mean that no one is searching for it. This means that out of the millions and millions and millions of data panelists that we have where we acquire our data, because Etsy does not give out search data, you have to get it through data research companies. eRank just happens to utilize one of the best. We have millions of panelists within our data panels, but every once in a while, especially when it comes to niche terms and having these really specific niches, sometimes terms will fall through the cracks, which basically means that nobody in our millions of panelists search for this specific term.
Specifically, for instance, there was a term, mermaids, a couple of years
Mermaid
ago.
stickers.
No, it was mermaids in general. Anything mermaids. And it was just completely lacking, even though in pop culture, it was one of the most searched things at the time. Just because something isn't showing on eRank doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't exist.
Exactly. So it's okay to experiment with things, especially if they're very, very specific to what you're selling. Akatar, Sarah J. Maas, blanket. I think that this right here is going to be my superstar keyword for this listing.
I think so too.
I think that this is, as long as I got my superstar keyword, I'm happy with that. You are a wolf.
I agree. Charming Chapter said that's why it's important to know the niche that you're selling in.
Exactly.
100%. If you're selling in a niche that you know nothing about, then you're going to miss out on little things like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Anna, I just searched for Akatar. You are a wolf blanket, and Starla comes up with the first images, but unfortunately the sponsored shop listings across the whole above are Timo, of course. Officially licensed merch from A Court of Wings and Ruin. So
it's kind of a mixed bag when it comes to the Temu stuff. Like, yeah, we should probably have the government step in and ban them from being allowed to do stuff like that. But how much do you want the government stepping on your toes with what you can and can't sell? Because if they're going to do it to them, they're going to do it to everybody. You just have to keep that in mind.
So here's our conundrum now. Do I remove the name of the book that the quote is from, even though the data isn't great? Or do I just experiment with this singular term? You know what? I think I'm just going to start here. And then maybe in a few weeks, I'm going to come back and I'm going to take another look at it and see.
Yeah, I'm going to see if that's somebody knocking on the door.
Okay.
It sounds like it is.
All right, so now I'm going to go back to my tags. And I just want to, change things up a little bit because I really want that Sarah J. Maas. Actually, you know what? I don't think that Sarah J. Maas blanket will fit in a single tag. So I don't think it'll matter regardless. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just copy gifts for readers and get rid of it for just a minute. Because I really would love to keep my superstar keyword together, but I don't think this will fit. Blanky. Okay, it did. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of Sarah J. Maas merch because I already have Sarah J. Maas blanket. Remember, order of tags doesn't matter. This is my superstar keyword. That doesn't mean that I need to enter it first. I know a lot of people get hung up on that, but order of tags does not matter. Okay, so I do have the acronym A Court of Wings and Ruin, ACOWAR, and then gifts for readers. I've got blanket repeated in here. Akatar. Trying to see. Roses. Can I combine anything? No, that one's too long. Out of curiosity, can I want to see if Akatar gifts. Can I get a good exact match for this? And I think Sarah J. Maas gifts. Ooh, high competition. Did pretty good in December. France, look at you, France. I don't see you very often.
If this was a listing that was selling, I'd say keep the unknown data experiments, but wouldn't it make more sense to prioritize known data to improve the views? Sometimes, yeah, I think for the majority of industries that would be the case, but for something that is this extremely niche.
Exactly.
It's a little
Exactly.
different.
Here's the thing. I think that a lot of people get hung up on the fact that like there's no step-by-step rules when it comes to SEO.
Nope.
And that's really what I try to show you guys. Like there are some like do not break these golden rules, like don't change the SEO of a listing that's already performing well. Why? Well, you might not know that you're broad matching for Akatar reading room, for example. You just see, well, reading room isn't bringing me any traffic, so you get rid of reading room and then bam, you cut off that traffic flow. That's why you don't touch those listings that are performing well, because you never know what weird combination that you are matching for. That's one of the golden rules of Etsy SEO. The other golden rule is not to go in and change all of your listings at once, because if you make changes that might, potentially hurt those listings, it's better to hurt one listing or two listings rather than hurt all of your listings. So really, those are the two big rules of Etsy SEO. When it comes to the rest, don't be afraid to experiment, because if you go in and look at the terms that I'm actually getting the most traffic for, a lot of them say that there's no data. A lot of them say that they don't have a lot of searches. But if those are the terms that are bringing me traffic, in fact, you know what? We've got this one all done. I'm going to leave the photo the same. We've updated the title. We'll go ahead and publish it. Then out of curiosity, let's go to our dashboard. Let's go into our marketing tab. Let's go into our search analytics beta. Now, obviously, these are all going to be terms from people looking for my shop directly. Lydia, look at that. Because
of the new book.
Because of the new book. She's like a main character in the new book. So this is one of the terms that I've been being found for. If we take this term, let's pop it into eRank real quick.
Careful not to hit any spoilers here. The book did literally just come out, so.
So you would say this term isn't worth using. Nobody's searching for this term.
Except she's an extremely plot saturated character. Like she's very important in this book series.
And if everybody assumes that nobody is searching for this, then, I will rank higher than all those people who assume that there is no one looking for her name, when in reality, it's not that no one's looking for it. It's just this is such a niche character that she slipped through the cracks. Also, if we scroll down, you can see eRank is telling you that, okay, we can see this character name. And look, they have tied the correct book series to that character name, the correct author to that character name, another related character who's in that same book series, a different book series by the same author, bookish. So these terms are all coming up. And then from Blood and Ash, which is a similar series that I also have products for. So
yeah, I'll be interested to see what these show. That's what Brenda said when it comes to February, when we get
February data.
Yeah, since the book literally just came out.
Yep. Rune, his name's on there. He's got some search data, I think, though.
Well, he's been important in previous books.
Right. I think that his character has some search data. Let's take a little peek. Take a little peek. Okay. Competition is higher.
Talking about lowering and raising prices. You shouldn't necessarily just raise the price if something isn't selling. Raise the price if your competitors are selling at a much higher price point than you and you need to match similar pricing.
In fact, can you pop it to my face real quick? Just so I can, let me show you how we determine our pricing.
Don't do it. Don't show them. Secret.
So rather than looking at all of our Etsy competitors, which is a fine thing to do, but if you've got a good enough niche and you know of other brands.
This is so freaking zoomed out, bro.
Okay, go ahead. What we like to do is we don't just look at Etsy sellers. We look at the big dogs in our industry.
Big dogs.
The big dogs. So we go to sites like the Bookish Box, who are major brands who are officially licensed. And then we go through and we go into authors and fandoms. This is also how we decide what products to make as well. Authors and fandoms, Sarah J. Maas items. We pop those open. We look at their price points. So t-shirts, $29. Sweatshirt, $39. T-shirt, $31. It's tie-dye. Mug, $21. Let's see if they've got...
Me too, Brenda.
Blankets. This is how we do our pricing research. Look at that. Pullover sweatshirt, $39. This is also how we decide, like, oh, you know, the bookish box has a blanket. Maybe we should have a blanket. So this one is just it looks like a thinner blanket, not crushed velvet. It is $38. So our blankets are crushed velvet. They're a little bit more expensive than that. But we try to align our prices with what the biggest brands in our industry are doing rather than just competing on Etsy alone. Because especially for our target audience, they're willing to pay more for these very, very niche products. Plus, we have to pay commission to the authors. Let's see. Looky there, Rune and Lydia. Court of Silver Flames. Valkyrie shirt. Akatar merch. Akatar pen. Akatar Valkyrie. You know what I want to see? Because we've... Come here!
You can't. I was about to say you got to go under.
You know what I want to see is I want to go in...
That one will probably be a little bit skewed too because God of War is popular right now and they play a huge role in that series too.
Yeah, but I want to see where I'm ranking for my Valkyrie shirt because we've sold a couple of them. And this is also a very specific reference that only takes place in one book out of like all of these books. And I just, out of curiosity, I want to see. Come on, eRank. Probably close out some of these tabs, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, page 2, rank 65. Hearts 23. Daily views. Okay. Interesting. And then I can look at some of the other listings. So, these are some other sellers.
An actual Sarah J. Maas shirt. I was surprised to see more Valkyrie gear with that. I expected it to immediately just be Viking lore stuff, which obviously the second one is.
Akatar shirt, Throne of Glass, Valkyrie.
Court of Thorns.
What I don't do is put the names of other book series that are unassociated with the series that I'm trying. I hate when people do that because it confuses me.
There's another one. These two.
SJM shirt. I'm actually going to save that to my keyword list.
SJM is another big one that people are using now.
Okay. Interesting.
So it's actually a pretty even mix of Sarah J. Maas merch and the Viking stuff. I'm actually kind of surprised by that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Especially with Viking stuff being huge right now.
All right, so I've got 2 shirts that I'm experimenting with. Now, the main thing that I'm going to need to do, or not shirts, 2 blankets, is day by day, because I've just made major changes to those 2 items. I want to make sure that I'm going into my change tracker tool every day and double checking just to see how those changes impacted my listings. eRank is going to keep track of the changes I made. They're going to show me where I changed my keywords. They're going to show me what day I changed my photo. That way I can see exactly where the changes are made and what those changes have done to my shop. And this takes a while. I'm going to let these changes run probably for about 2 to 3 months to really give myself an accurate idea of, you know, whether or not they helped or hurt. But I think that we've got a pretty good idea now. The last thing that I want to do is I'm going to go back into the rank checker tool. We just released our Crescent City collection because this book just came out. I want to check this, and then I want to check the specific name of the new Crescent City book that just came out, House of Flame and Shadow. I just want to see where we're ranking for those terms. There's probably not going to be a lot of keyword data yet for House of Flame and Shadow. I guess we could look at that as well. All right, so page 6. Is that the only one that's ranking for Crescent City? Dang. So we're not doing fab on that yet, are we?
Yeah, that's like one of your best shirts too. I love that design.
Oh, I do too. All right, let's try House of Flame and Shadow. House of Flame and Shadow. And let's take a little peek. Just to see. Like I said, we just listed these. This book just came out, so I'm not too concerned. Crescent City has also got a lot of merch. Okay.
Ooh, excuse me.
Okay. All right. So for this specific book, we're we're doing a lot better. Page 1, rank 4. Page 1, rank 48. Page 2, rank 86. Page 3, page 4, page 5. I like seeing at least one thing per page for these really niche terms. Next month I'll be excited because then we'll have data for this book. So, in fact, you know what I'm going to do?
Mark needs more coffee. Yeah.
He normally makes espresso for us every morning, but we were tired today, so we decided to go to Panera Bread and we just got coffees, and
they don't quite hit the same.
Yeah. I'm going to actually take in House of Flame and Shadow. Oh, it's already up there. Yeah, so it's still unknown. House, Flame, Shadow. Good job. Good job, eRank. You did your best. Okay. Let's come back to this when we have our data for February, because the book came out, what, last week? Week before last? When did the book come out?
I don't know. Last week, I think.
I can't remember. So for this one, I want to come back and double check. I think that I've run some good experiments. I hope that this kind of gave you guys an idea. I know that it feels like a messy process, and that's because it is. There's no like, first you do this, then you do this, then you need to do this. It's not like that. And I know that there are a lot of YouTubers who try to make you think that it is. They're sharing their special, like, first you do this and then you do that. Works for them. But really, I recommend looking at every piece of data that you have and trying to put the pieces together. You're not going to find a guide on how to do it. A lot of it is, you know, guesswork. Was it the photos? Was it the SEO? And then I went through and I compared. Well, obviously, if I'm getting views on something, the SEO probably isn't terrible. I reevaluated the keywords I was using. I looked to see maybe there's better keywords. I found a better keyword to experiment with. And then for a similar listing, I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison of, you know, whether it was a photo issue or whether it was a SEO issue. So I'm going to test those two side by side. Notice that I initially started by, you know, I had shirts up and blankets up, and I decided to go with changing the blankets. I don't want to change a bunch of things all at once, because say that the changes that you can go ahead and go to my face. Say that the changes that I made today ultimately hurt my shop. Let's say that I picked like terrible keywords, or changing the photo was the worst idea that I've ever had. Okay, I've done that with two listings that weren't selling already. No big deal. But if I went through and made those changes to all of my listings, can you imagine how detrimental that would be if all of my listings suddenly did really, really bad, if those changes were bad? So sprinkling in, changing, using the track changes tool, you can activate that by going to your active listings tab within eRank within the listings menu. Just go to active listings and there will be a button that says track changes. And then every day you just go in and you can check, and eRank will tell you how the views, favorites, and sales for that listing have changed on a day-by-day basis. It's not really a good idea to go in every day and look at it. I would wait until you've got, you know, several days worth of data or a couple weeks worth of data, and then do a big scroll through like what I did, where I was like, okay, you know, lots of views that day, lots of views that day, lots of favorites that day. Okay, this is getting found, and it is getting, you know, looked at, but people aren't buying it. What exactly is the issue? Well, if I'm seeing that it's getting views and it's getting favorites, someone's finding it. So that tells me that maybe it's not the SEO that I need to worry about. Maybe it could be something as silly as swapping thumbnails around, which sounds ridiculous, but you never know what, even if all of your photos are good, you never know what good photo is most going to appeal to the psychology of the buyer until you put something new into practice. I will occasionally swap a photo around, and then something that wasn't selling before will start selling, which is exactly what we did with our ornaments. That best-selling ornament that I showed you guys, we started by having that ornament laying flat over a piece of like pretty, it was like a slice of wood. And that photo's still in my listing. You can see it. But the ornaments weren't selling really well. So then I swapped the photos around to one where I had Mark like holding the ornament, like we had it on like a little fake, like snow, this little fake branch, and I've got the ornament dangling on it, and the ornament's like turning, and I waited until it like evened out, and then I snapped that photo. And then those ornaments started selling. And I think it's because customers liked being able to see through the glass ornament because you could kind of see the blurry details of the little background scene that I'd created with little props, because it really showcased that the ornament was kind of like, not like a sun catcher, but you know what I mean? Like it was see-through. Whereas when it was laying flat on a piece of wood, yeah, you could see the piece of wood through it, but it didn't look nearly as magical. So all we did was take those 2 photos and swap them around, and then that listing started selling really well. So sometimes it's not the SEO you need to be touching. Sometimes it is something as simple as swapping your pictures. But you guys are free to ask us questions. You can, it doesn't need to be about our topic today. You can ask about SEO, eRank. You can ask about Etsy in general. We're here to hang out. I'm snuffly today.
I am too. That's why I just went and blew my nose.
We took our daughter's birthday was yesterday. She turned 12. We went to an arcade and we touched everything.
Maybe that's why we're sniffly.
That's what I'm saying. We were touching arcade games, and we used hand sanitizer and immediately came home and washed our hands. But
all the people whose kids booger all over all the games.
right,
Don't be those parents.
We touched booger games, so we won booger prizes.
Quote of the week, dude.
What? Don't play
booger games or you'll win booger prizes. It's awful.
We could put that on a t-shirt.
We could.
All right. Let's see. And if you guys want to resubmit your questions,
yeah, we lost a lot of them.
If you asked us questions while we were doing the demo, pop them back in. That way we got to play a magical game of hunting for them.
Should I show in thumbnail? You can pick different colors of my product. If so, how should I do this?
So that's up to you. I used to do it when I made jewelry. I would have the pendant laying at an angle, and then they could choose their like birthstone. And I had a lineup of the little crystals that I just edited in. And I had them listed, down the side. And it's easy choice when it's birthstone because people see it and they're like, oh, I'm January, I need a garnet. However, if you're selling t-shirts, I would not, and if you have like 600 t-shirt options, I wouldn't do that because people do encounter what's known as choice overload. For anybody who's curious about that and you want to learn about the psychology of it, definitely check out the Paradise, that's the opposite. The Paradox of Choice by Barry Schwartz. It is a fantastic book that covers how the brain actually gets overloaded by choices and leads to unhappier people, unhappy society, or basically states of inactivity where if you can't make a choice, you choose not to make a choice at all. Mm-hmm. So that can help you with understanding the psychology of choice overload. I'm a big fan of giving people what I think is best. So for example, with a lot of our shirts, and something that Michelle and I are going to be leaning more into this year, is even if we have the option to select a lot of different colors, we're going to pick the colors that we know that are trendy. We were just looking at Target's website, or no, not Target, Aerie, which is American Eagle's like comfy brand. And we were looking at the trending colors at Aerie because Aerie appeals to a young female audience. Our shop, even though, Aerie is like athletic and cozy clothing, we are bookish products. We can look at the clothing trends over at Aerie and see that lavender was trending, mint was trending, like off-white was trending, white was trending, black was trending. And when we are releasing products, we would like to start swaying towards only offering the colors that we see are popular with these young adult readers as well. We can also reinforce that by going into our niche and doing a deep dive where, for example, for us, we could hop on TikTok or Instagram and type in bookish and then go through reels or TikToks and look at what some of these bookish influencers are wearing and the colors that they're wearing. We can go to that bookish shop, that big bookish brand that we were looking at, and look at the colors that they're offering and start to gather our own ideas as to what colors might be trending. For example, in our shop, a bright red shirt probably wouldn't do well. Our young adult, female oriented audience, they're not wearing big, bright, loud shirts. They want to wear more neutral colors and subtle colors and pastels. So that's really what we're leaning into. So the point being is that I wouldn't overload your audience, or your ideal target customers.
You done?
Yeah, I am done. That was a long explanation.
Yes, it was. Oof. I hate when it jumps like that.
Oh, thank you for all the happy birthdays. She's
Officially a preteen.
oh, God, yes.
How is the visibility score in eRank calculated, and how does it matter?
Visibility score. This is the one that I always donk up. So visibility score is, oh God, Debbie, are you still in the chat? This is the one that I always mess up, and I always have to have Pam explain it. It is the sum accumulation of, darn it, I'm going to have to pull Edge back up. It is the visibility of your listing from the time that it has been listed. So basically, it's something that's slow to change. You're not going to see an overnight change on it. You'll also notice that, there have been coaches in the past who have been like, you've got to try to aim for a 100% visibility score. That's BS. That's very hard to get. Okay, measurement of how well your listings daily views compared to the listings from thousands of other Etsy shops. So your daily views, that's right, your daily views backdated, think all the way back to the first day that you listed that item. It is the accumulation of your daily views all together, from the time that your listing was first listed on Etsy compared to other, all of the other yeah, thank you.
It's the views of the listing over the life of it in comparison to all the other views on Etsy.
Thank you, Debbie.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't know why that freaking explanation always leaves me. The main thing that I look at when it comes to my visibility scores and when I'm glancing at them is I think to myself, okay, this visibility score is high, but this listing has never sold. What's the deal? That to me is something that is where I want to look more into it. Or, okay, this item is sold a lot. The visibility score is high. This makes sense to me. Or this visibility score is very, very low. This listing is also never sold. This reinforces the idea that this listing might need a little bit more work. It's been listed for several months. The visibility score is low. The traffic on this listing is low. It hasn't made any sales. What's the deal? Is it my photos? Is it my SEO? And then I start to deep dive. There are a lot of different metrics within eRank that can help you to determine where exactly you want to start. Visibility score is one that a lot of people tend to use as their starting point to figure out what to edit. It's just not one that I personally use very much. There's something on your face.
It's probably dandruff. Thank you.
It just driving me crazy. I want it.
Maybe next time tell me instead of grabbing my nose.
I did tell you.
When you tweak the keywords and title, do you pay to renew it?
So sometimes if I make a big drastic change where the keywords are not already existing somewhere within my tags and title, then I will. If I find some new, completely different keyword, then I will. But for example, I already had Sarah J. Maas, the author name, and blanket in my tags and titles. They just weren't necessarily, I wasn't exact matching for them because those terms weren't together. And I really wanted an exact match for that. So I didn't pay to renew that listing. If I do some major listing overhaul on one of my listings, I will occasionally pay the 20 cents to give that listing a quick renewal if I've done a huge overhaul of my tags and titles. But I don't go in and do it every day. There used to be this fun little game that everybody would play where they'd go into the back end of their Etsy shop and they would select all of their listings and they would pay the 20 cents per listing every day, which for one, that's expensive. But they would pay it every day in order to, try to ride that boost that that Etsy gives to new listings. But here's the thing. Because Etsy gives you that boost in order to see how customers interact with that listing so they can determine where to put it in search. And if you are in there trying to boost that listing every single day, people still aren't looking at it. People still aren't buying it. What that's telling Etsy is, wow, this listing really sucks. So every time you're renewing it, they're just going to rank it lower and lower and lower and lower. So ultimately, that's just hurting the listing. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't do that. Debbie, you know that already. I know that you're just asking me. Because Debbie works at eRank. She's our longest eRank employee. But
She was also one of the first HA beta testers.
she was. But with that in mind, if you make a major change to like a listing or 2 listings and you want to renew them just to kind of like, hey, Etsy, pay attention to these changes. I don't think it's a big deal. Just don't be one of those weirdos who go in there and they're like, I want a boost. I'm going to try to get a boost, because that can hurt you over time.
Do you track changes on all of your listings? It looked as though most of them had a history of tracking.
So it depends on your plan. I go in because I've got an expert plan. What's the max that I can track? I can't remember offhand. Debbie, do you remember the quota for tracking?
You also work there, so if you needed more, you could get them for free. It doesn't matter.
Right. I mainly do it because I also work at eRank, and I figure, if I have the access to do this, I just do it. I just went through all of my listings. I'm like, yeah, I'll track all these. Boop, 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 boop. Depending on your plan level, you will have a quota. So I would recommend tracking the listings that you most want to see the data for. So tracking listings that you think are going to do well right when you list them, or tracking listings, maybe a week before you're planning to make some changes. That way you have some baseline data, and then make your changes, and then you can see how those changes affected your views, favorites, and sales. Because if you don't have a starting point, if you don't track for at least a few weeks before you make those changes, you won't have anything to compare to know if the changes helped. So I will usually go in, and if I'm, working with a new listing, which I'm not tracking any of those new Crescent City listings, but I would go in and track changes and then just let it sit, let it go. And then maybe a week or 2 later, if I wanted to make updates to that listing in some way, whether it be thumbnail or keywords, I would go in and make those changes. And then from there, I would continue tracking and compare the data from that baseline of those previous weeks to what happened after I made those changes. So I hope that helps.
Nada said, how to look at SEO for an extremely saturated niche, trying to get into digital downloads, coloring pages, etc.
So you need to niche within your niche. If it's a saturated niche, then you're going to deal with the typical issues of saturation. Digital downloads is not a niche. Coloring pages is not a niche. Those are
type or whatnot are going to be the niche.
Yeah, those are industries. So are they adult therapeutic coloring pages? Are they coloring pages for children? Are they preschool coloring pages with ABCs? Are the coloring
cowboy weenies riding dinosaurs?
Right. Like, are they adult coloring pages? Those are really popular. Like adult, like 18 plus. Find the niche within your niche. That's what we did. We're not just saying that we're a bookish shop, because that's also very saturated. Bookish shops, book themed shops are very saturated. We are specifically fantasy/romantasy books that trend on Instagram and TikTok. We aren't just picking random fantasy books. We are picking the ones that are the most popular, seeking licensing from them, and then making products for those. And every once in a while, we've got a line of dragon scale blankets that aren't specific to any particular books, but they still fall within fantasy. We have a line of animal cups, like tumblers, and they've got swords behind them. Like, they look like crests, and it was supposed to be like pick your like spirit animal type thing. And you can pick like a wolf or a fox or a polar bear or a tiger. Those aren't related to any specific books, but they still tie in to fantasy, like having, like an animal familiar. So
Zentangle adult teen coloring pages. I didn't know what in the heck Zentangle was. I just looked it up. It's pretty cool.
Oh, okay. So that's a niche.
It's like mixes and matches of different like geometric, crazy, trippy patterns like intertwining together.
Okay. So let's backtrack then. Zentangle. So that sounds like a not saturated niche.
Nah.
You told me a saturated industry, but the niche.
It is. It's this like different patterns quilted together kind of thing.
Okay, so you could use keywords like trippy coloring pages, detailed coloring pages.
Psychedelic is another one that you could use, because you could definitely push into that industry.
Yeah, geometric coloring pages, abstract coloring pages. There's so many good keywords that you could target that aren't saturated. The key is to get away from saturation. It's why I never recommend, if somebody comes to me and they're like, I want to start a shop that sells shirts for moms. I'm like, yay, good for you. What kind of moms? Give me something specific about these moms. What kind of moms are they? You know,
Right.
a good niche would be like homeschool preschool age moms. Like that would be like a whole niche. Or
Right.
caffeine addicted moms, or moms that read fantasy
Caffeine
and
addicted moms. You're still just talking about moms.
you're right. Moms that read smut. You know, that's all of these are niches.
Cool moms.
Cool moms like me.
Is there a version of the swipe files for digital products? I mean, for the most part, you can kind of just alter the original ones to fit for the digital theme.
Yeah, you just subtract. So SSAR, sale, ship, arrive, review. So you only need sale. You don't need ship. You can do arrive. So once you notice that they've downloaded their file, or you could follow up and say, hey, just wanted to make sure that you have, that you've been able to access your file. If not, please let me know so I can help you. And then review if they leave a good review. So you just need to kind of edit it a little bit to fit your own brand voice. You can also pop them into Chat GPT and say, hey, alter this for digital products.
Thoughts on making temporary / for limited time designs like Disney used to do with VHS tapes in the vault? Do people get excited about that?
Yeah, I used to do it in my old shop.
Yeah, I think the limited time thing works a little better when you have a following that's already kind of excited about your product, because then they're like, oh, I want to get that before any of the other raving fans get to it. You know what I mean? It doesn't really work for a non-existent crowd, because it's like, here's a limited time thing, because to a new shop, a limited time thing is everything. Right. So
wait until you've got a decent like social media audience or an email list. Yeah. For example, if we ran a limited time sale in our shop as is right now, our shop is new. We just started it. Probably wouldn't be super effective.
Yep.
However, in my last shop where I did handmade jewelry, that's one of the several reasons that we ended up, ultimately deciding to close that shop. We could not keep it stocked because
it was one of those shops that literally just every time he posted something, it sold out, and it just became too much work to do all while also doing this.
Our audience was so big though that they were ready to buy. Like they saw something new and they're like, yes, that. And have you guys ever followed artists like that? A lot of the clay artists that I follow, like...
And the throughput it's just too much time and effort between waiting for supplies to show up and actually creating the products, which could take up to an hour per, like, it just wasn't...
Yeah.
We had hit the ceiling for where we could have gone without having to hire employees.
Yeah, and I did have my dad helping me, but he just wasn't able to do it like I could. You know what I mean? So it wasn't making me happy anymore. We'll just leave it at that. My grandma had just passed away. My life was really hard. It wasn't making me happy.
This is more fulfilling because not only do obviously we get to make a living off of this, we also get to help people in the process.
Plus I work at eRank now, so I spend a lot of time doing that, and I really like the bookish niche. It's fun. I love being able to read as a job. It's fun.
Is it worth the effort to create videos for the Etsy Explore feature?
I would say so, but here's the thing. I'm an Android user and I still don't have access to it, which is pretty crappy in my opinion. So I can't even give you guys any information on if it helps, if it works. I don't have it. And I sure do wish that Etsy would hurry up, because
It doesn't matter, because I'm making her switch to Apple with her next phone anyway.
Yeah, I will be switching. However, that's content that I hope you're already making for Instagram, for TikTok. You could do like, if you can upload those videos,
your listing videos,
Pinterest. If you're already recording that content, it's not going to hurt. The worst thing that could happen is that it, doesn't result in any sales. But if you've already got that video content being distributed out to your other social media platforms, why not do it?
I'm confused about connecting my Google Analytics to Etsy / eRank. I think I did it, but eRank still tells no data. Could you give a brief explanation on how it should be done?
There is no
brief explanation. No.
You need to go to eRank in the bottom right-hand corner, pop open our chat. Our support team is online right now. Message them and let them know that you need help. There's no brief explanation. It's hard. It's a pain in the butt. I struggled with it. What they'll likely do is send you the tutorial that Anthony Wolf did, but let them know that you're already connected. that your Google Analytics is connected, but you think that it might not be connected correctly.
Does MailChimp create multiple copies if someone signs up for your mailing list multiple times with the same email address, or does it know and ignore future signups?
It combines them if it is one
It
list.
updates. If it's the same email address, it'll update the data with the new, like if they put in a new last name or if they, whatever data you're having them put in, it should just update it as long as it's the same email address. If it's the same person, IP address, new email address, there will be obviously 2 separate email addresses on that list.
Exactly.
Renew as in early renewal, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
like going in and paying that rather than waiting the 4 months, people used to go in and renew all of their listings for 20 cents every single day. And that
used to work.
It used to work like 10 plus years ago. They got smart and they realized that people were gaming the system.
Before their algorithm was complicated.
I know. It's been so long since that worked. And you know what's funny is people realized like several years ago, people finally were like, okay, yeah, this is a myth. It doesn't work anymore. But then for some reason, a couple coaches came out on YouTube and they're like, oh, guys, this brand new strategy that we just came up with. I'm like, no, you
on a forum from 15 years ago.
Like, no, you did not just come up with that. You read that from outdated information that no longer works. Stop teaching this to people.
Example of a niche within the wedding templates area. You're going to have to do that on your own.
Yeah, you guys, I can't
We can't do the work for you.
You guys got to get on social media, dig into your industries. An example of a niche, fantasy Renaissance style weddings. Weddings that take place on the sunny beaches of California. Weddings that take place in a pumpkin patch in the fall. Like they exist. You just got to do your own research.
I bet shirts for moms that read smut would sell really well. They would.
We're adding some of those. We're gonna have a smut collection. We talked about it. Michelle and I want to have like a filthy smut collection.
Do like waterproof bed covers.
I don't think that that's what we were thinking at all. I was thinking more like sweatshirts.
You know where my mind goes. I'm an iPhone user and don't use it since I'm on too many social platforms already. Gotcha. I haven't heard hardly anything.
Come to the dark side, y'all. Oh God.
See, the thing is, it's not really about the phone platform. That doesn't necessarily matter. For one, the camera software on iPhones is better. I really do hate them as a company, and there's quite a few mouth breather decisions they made with these phones, like the lack of a back button. Like, what is the point of that? No home button, no back button. Those are real mouth breather decisions.
He gets so mad.
Yeah, I do. This phone drives me nuts. However, especially with the newer phones, if you're running a business and you have multiple people doing things, the newer phones, you can go into your settings and switch things up. You can send uncompressed, full resolution photos from one person to another through text. You can actually, if you take yourself like your Apple ProRes, like 78 megabits per image pictures, I can send them directly to her as long as she has another iPhone, and they won't be degraded at all. They're exactly the same as they are on my phone. That's really the only reason that we're doing it.
Yeah, you didn't get that one. Yeah.
Today I have 57 views, 17 video visits, and 4 orders. With 4 orders, is it a good way if I start Etsy ads for $5 a day?
So there's no right or wrong answer. What were the 4 orders that you made today? Are those orders that you got today? If those were all for the same item, that's a good indication that your listing quality score for that item is starting to kind of pick up. I'm a big fan of putting ads behind items that are selling well. They're proof of concept. Customers already like them. If you know that they're selling well and you put a little bit of ad money behind it, that means that it's going to reach more people who are more likely to buy it. And it is going to have a better guarantee that you'll make a return on your investment. So I'm not saying that you can't ever advertise listings that aren't selling, but if you are, just know that you're gambling because you don't have a proof of concept. I would recommend putting the ads behind the items that are selling, and then how much money you should put behind it, that's completely up to you. How much money do you want to bet, at the poker table? That's what you're doing. You are gambling your money to see if you make it back. Mm-hmm. If you start going in the red, well, you should probably stop gambling for a little while, pull back, and maybe experiment with a different listing.
Being able to airdrop my art from iPad onto my MacBook makes life so much easier. Yeah, that's another benefit of it too. And I think moving forward with, especially with us doing video editing, being able to buy the new ridiculously expensive dork goggles that they sell,
I don't want
and
the dork
being
goggles.
able to actually like have your editing screen up in front of you, edit a picture over here, and then literally just take it across and be able to throw it into it. Like the
No.
convenience of the products is really the benefit. Otherwise, the company is kind of trash. I mean, even looking at the new goggles, if you look into it, the repair process on those is an actual nightmare.
No,
They've made it virtually impossible to repair yourself.
I'm just gonna want to watch like
Our hot dog sandwiches.
Lord of the Rings and the goober goggles, but giant. That's what I'll be doing. He'll think I'm working, and I won't.
See, we're past the actual real questions time. Our hot dogs sandwiches. That depends on your perception of what a sandwich is, because at the same time you could talk about something like a submarine sandwich where they don't cut the bread all the way through. Is that considered a sandwich, or is that considered a hot dog? If you say that it's a sandwich, then in the same right, a hot dog is also a sandwich. However, if you're talking about something like a hoagie where the bread's cut all the way through, that's different than a hot dog, and we would consider that a sandwich. So is the only difference whether the bread is split all the way through or if it's just cut on one side?
Okay, so this is the last question I want to get. As a new POD seller, how many quality listings should I start with, assuming I did a proper niche research? There's no answer to that. If it's not listed, it can't sell. Start listing things.
And don't listen to people that tell you need 1,000 listings.
No, there's no magical number. There's no magic number of listings. Just start listing things. And choice overload is a thing. You don't need to have a shop with 6,000 items. I think that we're doing quite well. 74 sales in a very niche industry for people who have read this specific book. In book series, we've got like 3 different book series in our shop. And 74 sales since September for POD, and we price at the top of our industry. I think that's pretty good. I'm happy with those numbers. But we don't have a ton of products, and we're just sprinkling them in, as we create the collections. So no magic numbers.
A lot of opinions on the hot dog. Sorry, guys. I haven't thought about it a lot. I'm just an analyst. I'm a professional analyst.
I was gonna say,
and my brain's just like, yeah, let's debate. I love to debate people on stupid things. It's fun.
He used to be a military analyst, so if I give him any type of like complex question,
I will come up with the dumbest answers possible.
Which is why, okay, so we're reading this book series together, Crescent City, and it's tied to another book series that we've already read, and it's like all these little tiny pieces connect the dots. Like some people get obsessed with it.
I've predicted almost everything that's happened, haven't I?
Like the bulletin board with like the red strings connecting all the pictures.
That's what my brain looks like most of the time. It's pretty funny because as we're reading it, I'm like, I bet this is going to happen. 9 times out of 10, it happens. And I'm right. But I'm pretty good at predicting stuff.
Because of that, this book came out and we're reading it together. He's reading it on Kindle. I'm reading it, and we are keeping up with each other and stopping on the same chapter so we don't read ahead. Mm-hmm. And it's just been so funny because we'll finish a chapter almost at the same time and look at each other, and he'll be like, that was crazy, huh? I'm like, yeah.
But I think that's all we have time for, guys. She's got 2 videos to record now after a quick commercial break. And then,
yeah.
Help.
I got to record 2 videos, don't I?
You do have to record 2 videos.
And then our daughter's birthday party is tomorrow. So that's going to be a whole thing.
So I guess we'll see you guys next week. Make sure you're around next Tuesday for the next whatever video she's uploading on here.
I don't know. I'm recording 2 today, and I don't know which one I'm going to post.
't one should we do? Number 1 or number 2?
I don't know which one is which. I think that one...
Give them the illusion of choice.
Okay, so one of the videos is going to be about eRank tools that you didn't know existed. So these are tools, I think it's 4 different tools that we know from our like back-end data at eRank that not very many people use them. And they're tools that anytime like Pam and I are doing a Q&A and we show them off, people are like, whoa, I had no idea that you could do that. So I'm like, okay, let's just do a video of all the tools that people have no idea are at their disposal. So that's going to be a fun one. And then I've also got a video that is going to go through the steps of, what to do if you've got a listing that isn't selling, where, like today I showed you kind of a messy process. In that video, I'm going to give you kind of like a more refined process that you can take. Just keep in mind that, again, it's just a strategy. It's not the strategy. There are a lot of different ways to decide. So what are you doing? Are you going to...
Waiting for you to quit talking.
Oh, okay. Are you got to go. You're ready to leave, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay.
I am.
All
Love
right,
you
guys. We'll see you
Bye-bye.
next week. Bye-bye. Illusion of choice. Love you.